Today we're going to look at fertility through a totally different lens. We're not just talking about hormones and organs, but about fertility as a state of your entire body and how it's all deeply connected to your nervous system. So this is really the core question we're diving into. Because, a growing body of research and clinical practice is showing that the answer to this could be a huge and often overlooked piece of the fertility puzzle.
For anyone on this journey, this quote probably hits pretty hard. Acupuncturist Kristen Apple makes a great point. Our culture tells us to just work harder to control the outcome. But fertility, it often challenges that very idea, and that can create this immense pressure.
Okay, so let's get into what's actually happening on a physiological level. Think of it like this. Inside our bodies, there's a kind of hidden switch, a constant negotiation going on between two very powerful and often competing systems.
What's so great about this slide is how clearly it lays out the conflict. On one side, you've got your stress response, the HPA axis. That's your fight or flight mode. Its only goal is survival. But on the other side, you have your reproductive system, the HPG axis. That's your rest and create mode, and its goal is conception.
And this, right here, illustrates the core issue perfectly. These two systems simply can't both be in charge at the same time. When your body is flooded with stress hormones because that HPA axis is constantly firing, it's essentially sending a message that now is not a safe time to create life. The survival system will always override the creation system.
So, the big question is, how can we help the body flip that switch back to rest and create? Well, this is where practices like acupuncture come in, not as some kind of magic, but as a scientific way to help regulate this internal system.
Before we get into the how, let's talk about the what. This number, 5,991, that's the total number of women who were involved in a massive recent analysis on this very topic. The scale we're talking about here is really important.
So get this, a 2024 meta-analysis looked at 38 separate high-quality studies of women undergoing IVF. And the conclusion, it was undeniable. Acupuncture significantly improved clinical pregnancy rates. The key thing to remember is that this isn't just one study. It's a powerful review of decades of research all pointing in the same direction.
So here's the mechanism, the how it actually works. Acupuncture has been shown to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. That's the rest and restore state we've been talking about. And when that shift happens, when you move away from fight or flight, you get better blood flow to the uterus and ovaries, and you help create the hormonal balance that conception really needs.
But this goes beyond just the physical mechanics. Regulating the nervous system isn't only about blood flow. It also kind of opens the door for a pretty profound psychological shift too.
Kristen Apple talks about this state of striving or gripping, that feeling of intense effort, of trying to control everything, which I'm sure so many people can relate to. Physiologically, what is that? It's tension. It's a body that's literally holding on tight.
And the alternative she talks about is moving from that state of control toward one of trust. Now, this isn't about giving up. It's about creating the internal space and, softness that allows the body's natural processes to actually unfold.
This really is the key takeaway, isn't it? In this framework, fertility becomes a kind of barometer for your entire body's well-being. It's an expression that basically says, I am safe, I am nourished, and I have the resources to create.
All right, so how does all this translate into practical steps? The idea isn't to replace conventional medicine, but to expand the toolkit. So let's look at a few key moments where this kind of approach could be really beneficial.
This timeline lays it out really clearly. First, you've got the prep phase, 3 to 6 months before IVF, to get your nervous system and cycle regulated. Second, you can use it during an IVF cycle, which is where that powerful research we just saw is focused. Third, it can be absolutely crucial for resetting after a failed cycle, helping the body recover. And finally, for those unexplained cases, it can help you explore some of the root causes of imbalance that standard tests might not be picking up.
And all of this leaves us with this final, really powerful question. For anyone who is navigating the intense world of fertility treatments, what might change if the main focus shifted away from trying to control every single variable and instead shifted toward creating a deep sense of safety within your own body? It's a perspective that could reframe the entire journey.
I stopped trying to find a doctor who would listen, and I did this instead. For years, I was doing everything right. Eating clean, exercising, getting 8 hours of sleep, but I was still exhausted, I had constant brain fog, and my hormones felt completely out of whack. Every doctor told me my labs were normal, and it was probably just stress. I was about to give up until I found Holistic Health. It's a free AI wellness tool trained by functional medicine experts. I spent 5 minutes answering questions about everything: my symptoms, my sleep, my digestion, and it built me this. And this was the light bulb moment. It didn't just give me a list of problems, it connected the dots. It showed me how my gut health was likely impacting my hormones and how that was causing the fatigue and the brain fog. It even gave me a clear list of potential root causes, supplements to research, and even the specific lab tests to ask for. Its tip is secure, over 77,000 people have used it, and it's 100% free to get your blueprint. If you feel like you're not being heard, start here. Understand your body first and then decide your next step.